Hey there, welcome back friends. In this video we will talk about couple of small little concepts in Java which are indeed important. First of all, we will talk about statements, code block, then we will also talk about indentation and literals. Now what is a statement? A statement is a complete instruction. A statement will perform a specific operation. This could be a assignment operation, it could be some other operation, and we will check out an example in couple of minutes. Now in Java, usually a statement ends with a semicolon. Remember this. Now moving forward, what is a code block? A code block is nothing but a set of instruction, right? So if there is a collection of statements put in together, it could be a code block. Now why it could be a code block? Because definitely code block is a block which will perform a specific task, and in Java code blocks are enclosed within braces. Again, we will check an example of code block in couple of minutes. Alright, so here is an example where we have a very simple class, where we have a very simple main method, where we have a variable, then we are printing some information on the console. In this example, these two lines of code are nothing but statements. A statement is a complete instruction. The first line of code is doing what? It is assigning the value 2018 to the variable year. Likewise, in the next statement, we are printing a message hello world, and we are then also printing the value of the variable year, which is cool enough. So these two are nothing but statements. Likewise, a code block is a set of instructions, set of statements enclosed in braces. So in here, in this example, we can say that these two statements put in together is nothing but a code block. But if we see these braces are nothing but braces of the method itself, can we say a method is a code block? Definitely a method is a code block, but there could be different inner code block as well. Let us check a more sophisticated example. So in this example, there are like numerous statements, and if we check, there are like code blocks. For example, from line number 7 to line number 10. Here is a set of brace, and here is nothing but a code block. So this for loop is nothing but a code block, where inside a braces, inside this for loop, we have set of instructions. These are nothing but code block. Likewise, we also have a code block for a while loop. There could be like numerous code block. Whenever there are like braces, we can like say that that specific set of instructions is a code block. So always go by the braces. Braces indicates the code block. Now friends, moving forward, we can easily see that at line number 11 there is a initialization. There is a creation of a new variable by the name of I. We say int I equal to 1. But if we see in line number 7, again there is already a initialization. So how come we are able to initialize two separate variable with same name? The thing is that these code block have impact on the scope of a variable, and whenever there is a variable in a code block, the variable won't be available outside the code block. So scope is something which is very important. As a result, the variable I within the for loop is not available outside the for loop. As a result, we need to create a new variable with name I in order to use it inside the while loop. And definitely we can make use of any name. I name is used in order to show you that what is the impact of code blocks. Definitely scope is important. Scope means that the scope of the local variable would be limited to the code block only. Outside the code block, the local variable is unusable. The local variable will not be available. Outside the block, the local variable will die. Alright, so as soon as the control of Java programming language will shift to line number 11, the variable I will die. Alright, now moving forward, if we check the indentation of this program, then indentation of the program makes this program more readable. We can easily make out that the line number 8 and 9 are shifted towards right. Likewise, line number 11 and 12 are again shifted towards left. Finally, in order to make the program more readable, line number 13 and 14 are shifted towards right. So these shifting of code is done in order to make the program more readable, in order to specify the code block more clearly. So as a result, indentation is a tool which makes your program more readable, and it is easy to maintain when we indent the program. Alright, now moving forward, let us talk about literals. Now what is a literal? A literal in Java is a sequence of characters that represent constant value that to be stored in a variable. Now this is definitely a definition, and we will check the types of literal in order to make the concept more clear. Alright, so first of all, let us check the integer literal. What is an integer literal? A integer literal is used to represent different number systems in Java. Definitely we know that there are like different number systems. For example, hexadecimal number system, decimal number system, octal number system, binary number system. As a result, if we prefix a number using 0, then the number would be treated as an octal number. If we prefix the number using 0x, then the number would be treated as a hexadecimal number. Likewise, if we prefix the number using 0b, then the number would be treated as a binary number. So these 0b, 0x, 0 are nothing but literals. Here are a couple of examples in order to initialize variable using certain number system formats. Then moving forward, we have floating point literals. What are floating point literals? Floating point literals are nothing but used to represent different type of floating point. In Java, there are like two type of floating point number. First one is float, then we have double. Double is default. Now, whenever we would like to override the default value, we can make use of the literal. Here are examples. For example, we wish to initialize a float number using a double, then we can make use of 12.25d. Now this d is nothing but the literal, and by default d is already there. So even if we don't make use of this d as a postfix, it is okay. Likewise, for example, we are initializing a float value variable, then we can make use of 52.444f. Now this f will explicitly convert the value 52.444 to a floating point value. This is the advantage of making use of the f literal. So f and d are literals, and based on your requirement, you can definitely make use of these literals. Alright, now moving forward, we have the character literal. Now using the character literal, we can initialize a character variable. So in order to specify a character literal, we make use of single quotes. Here is an example. So for example, we wish to initialize the variable x, then we will simply make use of single quotes, and in between the single quote, we will make use of the character. A character could be anything. It could be alphabet, it could be special character, it could be number, it could be anything. But the length of the character would be 1. But in the next example, we are initializing the variable m using 062. Now 062 is nothing but the ANSI equivalent of the character. So you can research more on ANSI chart, and you can definitely make use of the ANSI character equivalent in order to assign a value of a character variable. Simply Google and research more on ANSI chart. That will help you. ANSI values are again important, not very important, but again good to know information. Now moving forward, we have escape sequence. Escapes or unescapes is a string which removes traces of offending characters that can prevent compiling. This is again a definition. Now sometimes there could be scenarios where we cannot use a specific character, a specific string. For example, we cannot print double quotes directly. How to handle these situation? So we have couple of escape sequence. Definitely you can research more on escape sequence, and using these escape sequence we can print some characters on the console which indeed cannot be printed directly. For example, here are couple of escape sequences. For example, one of the escape sequences double quotes, right? So whenever we would like to print double quotes, we need to make use of slash double quotes, then only we would be able to print double quotes. So simply research more on escape sequences. Definitely this concept is again important, and all the escape sequences are nothing but literals. Alright, then finally we have the null literal. What is null? Null is nothing. Null is not a keyword, but it symbolizes nothing, right? So whenever we wish to assign nothing to a variable, for example, we simply make use of null. Alright, finally we have the boolean literal. True and false are not keywords but literal. Whenever we wish to specify correct, we make use of true literal. Whenever we would like to specify false, incorrect, we make use of false literal. Alright, so here is an example. Alright, so these were couple of small little concepts which are not hugely important but good to know important information. Alright, so this is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.